Chapter 1. The Origins of the Silk Road. Close your eyes and imagine a time long ago when merchants and explorers embarked on grand adventures, traversing endless landscapes to connect east and west. The Silk Road, a vast network of trade routes, began during the 2nd century BCE and flourished until the 15th century. Spanning over 6,400 kilometers, it was not just one road, but a series of interconnected paths that crossed deserts, mountains, and rivers, linking China with the Mediterranean and the distant lands of Europe. The Silk Road derived its name from the precious commodity that was carried along its length: silk, a fabric so luxurious and coveted that it became synonymous with wealth and status in the ancient world. But the Silk Road was much more than a route for silk alone. It facilitated the exchange of countless other goods, such as spices, jade, gold, porcelain, and ivory, as well as ideas, religions, and cultures that shaped the course of human history. Our journey begins in the Han Dynasty of ancient China, around 114 BCE. When Emperor Wu sent his envoy Zhang Qian to explore the lands of Central Asia. Zhang Qian's travels opened up connections between China and the regions to the west, leading to the development of the Silk Road. From the bustling capital of Chang'an, modern-day Xi'an, caravans of merchants set off, laden with goods to trade with distant empires. Picture the vibrant city of Chang'an at the dawn of the Silk Road. The streets are filled with the clatter of horse-drawn carts, the rich scent of incense wafts through the air, and the colorful fabrics of the marketplace flutter in the breeze. Merchants from all over Asia gather here, preparing to embark on a journey that will take them across vast deserts, over towering mountain ranges, and through bustling cities, carrying not only silk, but also the culture and wisdom of their homeland. Chapter 2. The Treacherous Desert Crossing. As merchants set out on their long journey along the Silk Road, they soon encountered one of the most formidable obstacles: the great deserts of Central Asia. The Taklamakan Desert, in particular, was a treacherous expanse of golden sands, often referred to as the Desert of Death. Its name reflected the dangers that awaited those who dared to cross its seemingly endless dunes. Caravans of camels, known as the ships of the desert, made their slow, deliberate way through the scorching heat of the desert. These hardy animals, capable of storing fat in their humps and enduring long periods without water, were essential to the survival of the traders. The journey across the Taklamakan Desert could take weeks, and the traders depended on their camels to carry not only their precious cargo, but also their supplies of food and water. Imagine the quiet stillness of the desert, where the only sounds are the soft padding of camel hooves on the sand and the gentle rustle of the wind. As the caravan moves across the dunes, the sun beats down from a cloudless sky, casting long shadows across the sand. The traders, wrapped in flowing robes to protect themselves from the sun's harsh rays, press on, guided by the stars at night and ancient markers during the day. Oases, like shimmering mirages, dotted the desert and provided crucial resting places for the weary travelers. These lush havens, with their fresh water springs and date palms, were vital for the survival of both the traders and their animals. Cities such as Dunhuang, on the edge of the Gobi Desert, became bustling centers of trade and culture, where merchants could rest, trade goods, and replenish their supplies before continuing their journey. As you picture the caravan stopping at an oasis, imagine the refreshing coolness of the shade beneath the palm trees. the soothing sound of water trickling from a nearby spring, and the sight of merchants unloading their wares. It is a moment of peace in the middle of a long and challenging journey, a place where travelers from faraway lands come together to rest and exchange stories. Chapter 3. The Majestic Mountain Passes. After the traders crossed the deserts, they faced another daunting challenge: the towering mountain ranges that stood between China and the lands to the west. The Silk Road passed through some of the world's highest mountain ranges, including the Pamirs and the Tian Shan, where snow-capped peaks reached toward the heavens. These mountains, majestic and remote, were both a barrier and a gateway between east and west. The mountain passes were narrow and often treacherous, with steep cliffs dropping off into deep ravines below. Avalanches, rock slides, and harsh weather conditions made these paths dangerous, but the traders pressed on, determined to reach the cities and markets that awaited them on the other side. Despite the dangers, the views from the mountain passes were breathtaking, with the clear blue sky stretching endlessly overhead and the valleys far below blanketed in green. In the higher elevations, the air was thin and cold, and the travelers wrapped themselves in heavy woolen cloaks to keep warm. At night, they huddled around campfires, sharing stories of their adventures and the treasures they carried. The stars shone brightly in the night sky, offering guidance to the traders as they navigated the remote and winding paths. Along the mountain routes, the traders often encountered nomadic peoples who had made their homes in these remote regions. The nomads, skilled in navigating the treacherous terrain, acted as guides and offered hospitality to the traders, welcoming them into their yurts and sharing meals of roasted lamb, bread, and warm tea. Imagine the warmth of the fire as you sit in a cozy yurt, surrounded by the quiet strength of the mountains. Outside, the wind howls and the snow falls softly, but inside there is comfort and companionship. The travelers share tales of their homelands, their voices filled with excitement and wonder as they look forward to the cities that lie ahead. Chapter 4. The Bustling Markets of Central Asia. After weeks of travel through the deserts and mountains, the traders arrived at the great cities of Central Asia, where the Silk Road came alive with activity. Cities like Samarkand, Bukhara, and Kashgar were hubs of commerce, culture, and knowledge, where merchants from all corners of the world gathered to trade their goods. Samarkand, one of the most famous cities along the Silk Road, was a dazzling jewel at the crossroads of civilizations. Its markets were filled with the sights and sounds of traders from China, Persia, India, and the Mediterranean, all eager to exchange their wares. Silk, spices, gems, gold, and precious textiles were traded for silver, ivory, and other goods from distant lands. The vibrant colors of the marketplace, the smell of exotic spices, and the rhythmic sounds of haggling filled the air. In addition to goods, the traders exchanged ideas, languages, and customs, creating a melting pot of cultures that enriched the cities along the Silk Road. Samarkand, in particular, became a center of learning and scholarship. Scholars from Persia, India, and China gathered here to study and share knowledge, contributing to advancements in astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and art. Imagine walking through the market stalls of Samarkand, where merchants display their goods, silk in every shade imaginable, intricately woven carpets, and glittering jewels. The air is alive with the sounds of different languages and the hum of conversation, as traders from across the world come together to exchange not only goods, but stories of their travels. Chapter 5. The Spread of Ideas, Religion, and Knowledge. The Silk Road was not just a trade route for goods, but also a highway for the spread of ideas, knowledge, and religion. Alongside the caravans of silk and spices traveled monks, scholars, and philosophers, who brought with them new beliefs and discoveries that would shape the course of history. One of the most significant cultural exchanges along the Silk Road was the spread of Buddhism from India into Central Asia and China. Buddhist monks traveled with caravans, bringing their teachings to the cities and villages along the route. Monasteries were built along the Silk Road, providing places of refuge and learning for both monks and travelers. The caves of Dunhuang, filled with magnificent Buddhist art, stand as a testament to the spread of the religion along the Silk Road. But Buddhism was not the only religion to travel along the Silk Road. Zoroastrianism, Christianity, Islam, and later Manichaeism also spread along the trade routes, creating a rich tapestry of religious and cultural exchange. The interaction between different faiths and philosophies fostered a sense of mutual understanding and respect, even as these ideas mingled and evolved in new ways. Scientific knowledge and technological innovations also flowed along the Silk Road. Chinese inventions such as papermaking, printing, and gunpowder reached the West, while Greek and Roman advancements in medicine and astronomy made their way to the East. This exchange of knowledge helped to spark the development of new technologies and ideas in both the East and the West, contributing to the progress of civilizations. Picture the quiet halls of a monastery along the Silk Road, where monks sit in contemplation, surrounded by the peaceful hum of nature. As traders pass through, they stop to rest and learn from the monks, who share their wisdom and teachings. In this way, the Silk Road became not just a path for trade, but a bridge for understanding and cooperation between cultures. Chapter 6. The Cities of the Caliphates and the Rise of Empires. The rise of powerful empires played a crucial role in the development and flourishing of the Silk Road. The Roman Empire, with its insatiable demand for silk and luxury goods, helped fuel the expansion of trade along the Silk Road. Roman nobles draped themselves in Chinese silk, while merchants profited from the steady flow of goods between East and West. Following the fall of Rome, the Byzantine Empire continued to engage in trade along the Silk Road, and later, during the Islamic Golden Age, the caliphates of the Middle East played a pivotal role in the trade networks. Cities like Baghdad and Damascus became centers of learning, commerce, and culture, connecting the Mediterranean world with Central Asia, India, and China. Imagine the bustling streets of Baghdad during the height of the Abbasid Caliphate. Scholars from across the known world gather in the city's libraries, where they study and translate works of philosophy, science, and medicine. The city's markets are filled with goods from every corner of the globe: silk, spices, gold, and jewels, creating a cosmopolitan hub of activity that bridges East and West. Chapter 7. The Maritime Silk Road. While much of the Silk Road's history centers around its overland routes, there was also a significant maritime component, known as the Maritime Silk Road. This network of sea routes connected China with Southeast Asia, India, the Arabian Peninsula, and East Africa, creating a thriving trade in spices, silk, tea, and other valuable goods. Chinese merchants set sail from ports like Guangzhou and Quanzhou, their ships laden with silk and porcelain, bound for the markets of India, Arabia, and beyond. The maritime routes were faster than the overland routes and could carry larger quantities of goods, making them an essential part of the Silk Road's trade network. Picture yourself standing on the deck of a ship as it sails across the Indian Ocean, the wind filling the sails as the ship glides over the blue-green waters. Below deck, the cargo holds are filled with precious goods, ready to be traded in distant lands. The scent of salt air mixes with the fragrance of spices stored on board, and the horizon stretches endlessly ahead, promising new adventures and discoveries. Chapter 8: The Decline of the Silk Road and Its Enduring Legacy. By the 15th century, the Silk Road began to decline. The rise of the Ottoman Empire and the closing of key trade routes, combined with the discovery of sea routes by European explorers, diminished the importance of the overland Silk Road. Yet, even as the trade routes faded, the legacy of the Silk Road endured. The exchange of goods, ideas, religions, and cultures that took place along the Silk Road left an indelible mark on history. The cities along its route, places like Samarkand, Baghdad, and Chang'an, became centers of learning and culture, contributing to the intellectual and artistic achievements of the ancient world. As you drift off to sleep, imagine the Silk Road at its peak, a vast network of trade and culture that stretched across continents, bringing people together in a shared journey of discovery. The legacy of the Silk Road lives on, a reminder of the power of connection and the human desire to explore and understand the world. Good night.